no need to prolong, really. It is time to begin my thing, you know? So here we are, no longer prolonging the thing. It's time to begin. Hello, I'm Reese. I don't know why I'm doing this accent at the moment. I think it's because I'm wearing the fangs, and those make me feel a little bit more like a piece of shit. So I do this weird accent just to like further manifest the fact that I am indeed a piece of shit. What else? It is March 9th. I'm going to go into my normal accent right now. It's March 9th. That's not my real accent. This is my real accent right now. It's March 9th. It's the week of Henry the Fourth, part 2. Which I can only assume will be followed by Henry the Fifth at some point. I'm not entirely sure when that will happen. Hello, Susan. I am in a mood today, a rare mood. I really do think it is the fangs that give me this kind of strange confidence. Just for clarification, I have been rewatching Being Human, the North American US version. I haven't been able to get past the second episode of the UK version, which is like a blow to my personality as one who lords myself over others, when I can say, you know, I watched the UK version when it was cool. In this case, I can't do that because I haven't been able to enjoy the UK version. The US version is the one that I started with. It's my favorite. I've been like fully binging it in the past few days. I'm in season 2, I think. And oh God, every episode I just go like, why did I ever stop watching this? It's an incredible show. I recommend Being Human. I'm sure the UK version is just as good. I'll give it a go once I've finished, again, the US/North American version. But, my God. Okay, so, the undead confidence. The undead confidence is 100% a thing. 100% a thing. And I am deep within the undead confidence realm. Highly recommended if you want to know about, or if you want to see something with like the traditional kind of prototype characters that you assume that you're gonna see in a like vampire or werewolf or ghost story, but then you like turn them on their head and you like enjoy them as a human, as a character with feelings and thoughts and like a whole ninth dimension of a character. Ugh. Incredible show. Anyway, I'm rewatching it for the first time. I'm pretty sure that my spouse and I watched the last season live, like as it was coming out. Not live, but like as it was coming out. I'm pretty sure that's when we watched it. So it's been that long since I've watched, and that's probably like 2017 at the latest. I feel like it's probably earlier than 2017. I'm pretty sure it was a pre-Trump show. And so now I'm rewatching it, and I'm just like, I'm like trying to write as I'm like having this on in the background, but I'm fully like sitting there going, these guys are cool. So naturally I've fished out my fangs and like we're in like full vampire mode now. If you don't like it, I don't care. I am here tonight to draw with you. Actually, let me open up. Who is it that I'm drawing right now? I am drawing It's Shakespeare. I don't know where this app is on my iPad. I'm pretty sure that it is in distractions. It is, because Shakespeare is a distraction, 100%. Henry the Fourth. Henry the Fourth, part 1. No. Part 2. That's what we're looking at. Henry the Fourth, part 2. Right here. In the middle. Okay. So this play, like, just to preface, is like kind of neglected and kind of shit. Not shit because it's a bad play, but shit because it's neglected, I think. The play itself is pretty good, but the fact that nobody puts it on, like, leads me to just anger, basically, at the world. And we can open up this play with the very first line. It's like a prologue to the whole play. We open the thing up with this character called Rumor. And if for no other reason that people put on this play, they should put it on for this character Rumor. Like, I understand that there's more action in Henry the Fourth Part 1, because there's a lot of action. There's like a war. There's a face-off between two kind of like prince characters. You know, Henry the Fourth Part 1 is like a really strong play that, like, you would assume that people would want to see for the battles and all that shit. Please hold. It's Costco soda water time. So, like, you'd enjoy all of that from Henry IV Part 1. But then, like, what happens after the epic battle? What's the fallout of that epic battle? How does the character that is Henry IV, how does he actually end his reign as king in the UK and Britain and England? How does that actually happen? You probably don't care, because Henry IV's death is not very interesting. Henry V's reign is maybe a little bit interesting, but Henry IV, like, actually just up and dying, not so interesting. But that's kind of what the play is kind of hitting at. Excuse me. Right here is, in the last episode, we saw Henry IV, who's the king, and his son Hal. We saw them fighting the battle against Hotspur and Hotspur's army, and how that kind of affected the nation, and how that affected the royals, etc., etc. At the end of that play, we saw Hal, the king's son, the prince, killed Hotspur. He gave a beautiful, like, speech over Hotspur's dead body, about how, you know, he recognized that he was a good soldier and that he was a, like, decent leader, etc. We saw that speech as he, you know, cowered over the body, like, I'm better than you, but I've killed you and I respect you. You know, that kind of speech. And that's kind of where we leave it. In episode 1, we kind of don't know what happens. after the end of that battle. So, Henry IV Part 2 is kind of the aftermath of that battle. There's a scene where the spouse, the wife of Hotspur, has a moment. There's what happens with Falstaff and Hal, which, spoiler alert, is really fucking sad. Like, good God. Hal does Falstaff dirty at the end of this play. Throughout the whole play, he's like, yeah, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you. It's no big deal. Like, we've been pals, besties, for some time now. And when I'm king, like, don't you worry, Falstaff. Things are going to be good. When he's king, spoiler, things are not good. When he's king, he banishes Falstaff. He banishes him. Like, straight up, GTFO, I don't want to deal with you. And you're banished. And I had the pleasure of seeing the show recently as performed by a smallish company here in Raleigh, and it was fucking heartbreaking when it got to the point where Falstaff and Hal have their like moment of like, because Hal's been leading him on this whole time, when Falstaff says like, or when Hal says like, I'll take care of you, and after his dad dies, which happens in this play, Henry IV Part 2 is when Henry IV dies. Henry IV is dead. Henry V is now on the throne, aka Hal. He's now taken over as king. And Falstaff says, oh, like, fuck yeah, my buddy's on the throne now. Like, I'm set. I'm good to go. Like, hell yeah. And then once he gets to, like, talk to the new king, Henry V, Hal, his friend for the last few years, is like, I don't know you. Who are you? I don't, like, get out of here. Leave the country, period. I'm exiling you. You're out of here. GTFO. Like, and he's gone. And Falstaff is revered, like, has looked at Hal as, like, a son this whole time. And now that he's on the throne, he is looking at Falstaff, who is a father figure to him, and exiles him. Like, yeah, Falstaff is not a good guy, generally, but, like, don't lie to people. Don't lead them on. If you're gonna, like, be cool with them after they leave, like, after you're the king, like, be cool with them after you're king. Don't, like, surprise, you're exiled them. That's some bullshit. And I am not on board with it. Henry V, at the end of Henry IV Part 1, some bullshit. But as much as that irritates me, that is not what I want to talk about. And that's not what I necessarily want to draw. It should be what I want to draw. It really should be. But I feel like that kind of betrayal is gonna come back when I read another play. But what's not gonna come back is a character called Rumor. This character is literally called Rumor. So, and they act like the kind of chorus in this play. And what I would, I'm gonna do a dramatic reading. I'm going to do a dramatic reading for you. Got my iPad. I'm ready. This character is kind of like the chorus in like Greek plays. And this is Act 1. This is the prologue. So you come into this play, this is the first thing you hear. I like to imagine the wooden O is full of people, and they're talking, and they're like peeling oranges and eating them, and it's a raucous old time right now. It's loud as shit. And there's no way if somebody stepped on the stage and started talking that these people in the crowd would stop to listen. And yet, you have to draw in all these people's attentions so that, like, you can get on with this kind of boring show. It's not super boring. It's definitely more boring than, like, Romeo and Juliet and Midsummer. It's historical. So what do you do to capture the attention of all these people? You have Rumor come in and give kind of a prologue to the whole play. And I'm going to read the prologue. It is 40 verse lines. Okay. 40 lines. It's a little long. I'm going to give it my best shot, having not rehearsed it at all. And wearing these ridiculous vampire fangs because I'm obsessed. Is this my thing now? Am I doing Shakespeare art and vampire fangs? I'm sure that's like a thing out there for somebody that someone's gonna like to. Do it. Pay me. Subscribe to my Patreon. Subscribe to my Patreon and I'll say anything you want with my fangy lisp. Do it. Okay. That little advert aside, here we go. Rumor. Act 1, prologue, Henry IV, Part 2. Open your ears, for which you will stop the vent of hearing when loud... For which of you will stop the vent of hearing when loud rumor speaks? I, from the Orient to the drooping west, making the wind my post horse, still unfold the axe commerce on this ball of earth. On this ball of earth. Upon my tongues continual slanders ride, the which in every language I pronounce, stuffing the ears of men with false reports. I speak of peace, while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. And who but rumor? Who but only I make fearful musters and prepared defense, while the big year, swollen with some other grief, is thought with child by the stern tyrant of war, and no such matter? Rumor is a pipe blown by surmises, jealousies, conjectures, and of so easy and so plain a stop that the blunt monster with uncounted heads, the still discordant wavering multitude, can play upon it. But what need I thus my well-known body to anatomize among my household? Why is rumor here? I run before King Harry's victory, who in a bloody field by Shrewsbury has beaten down young Hotspur and his troops, quenching the flame of bold rebellion even with the rebels' blood. But what I mean to speak, so true at first, My office is to noise abroad that Harry Monmouth fell under the wrath of noble Hotspur's sword, and that the king, before the Douglas rage, stooped his anointed head as low as death. This have I rumored through the peasant towns between that royal field of Shrewsbury and this worm-eaten hold of ragged stone where Hotspur's father, old Northumberland, lies crafty sick. The posts come tiring on, and not a man of them brings other news than they have learnt of me. From rumor's tongues they bring smooth comforts false, worse than true wrongs. So this play opens with what really happened is that Henry Monmouth won the battle, killed Hotspur. But what I, as a rumor, am spreading throughout the world is that he died, and that the adversary took his place, and that the world has been f***ed up. And it seems that the character of Rumor takes joy in the act and in the understanding that things untrue are joyful, basically. And so what I want to share, I think, is the idea that sometimes false news, like regardless of who it's about, but sometimes rumors spread around to almost purposely take you away from the path that you're on. Like, whether you're involved or not, basically. Sometimes rumors exist, and that untruth will kind of ruin your day. And the way that I want to say that is tough. I don't know how I want to say that, to be honest. I'm thinking. That's incorrect. I don't want that. I'm thinking. What am I thinking? Someone tell me what I'm thinking so that I can draw here appropriately. I'm looking for sketching. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I do. So Doll says, I do, and I want you to say, I am an amazing artist and my work has value. Doll, are you asking me to like positively affirm my existence as an artist? Because I will never do that. I can't. Physically incapable. I am an amazing artist and my work has value. I am an amazing artist and my work has value. I am an amazing artist and my work has value. It's true. But I don't like to say it. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is that I want to show. Yes, you said if I subscribed to your Patreon, you would say what I want. Have you subscribed to my Patreon, or did I just give you that for free? Okay, but really, I'll give you whatever you want, doll, because you're my Aes Sedai. You're one of my Aes Sedai, and I feel like that's like, it's like an understood thing. And I thank you for your positivity and for always coming. You're like the one who always comes to my stupid fucking live streams. So, thank you for coming to my stupid fucking live stream. That said, if we're talking about Patreon, I have been drafting a post this week. I feel like it's going to be a big post because I've been drafting it this whole week. But I do have some big changes coming in the next couple months regarding my Patreon. And since nobody from work actually watches this, I'm going to say that I'm putting in my notice at work. That's one of the big things. I am going to be putting in my notice at work so that I can focus at least part-time on making my content better. More, I'm going to do some like shorts, some YouTube shorts. And I want to kind of market my cards a little bit better and market my channel a little bit better. So I will be putting in my notice quite soon at work. So if you're anyone from work, but no one's from work here. Anyway, that's some insider knowledge. I want to, right? Is there going to be a literal ear? This is what I've been thinking about like all day today. Is do I want to do like a literal tongue? Like, because I'm looking at this from the point of view of Rumor, who seems to just take so much joy in, spreading bullshit around that, like, a literal tongue would be so easy, but I don't like it. I don't want to, I don't like, as much as I rely on like lip reading to understand what people are saying to me, I like do not like mouths. Like, it's disgusting to me and I hate it. So like to have just like a tongue like on a card, just like it, but I don't want to do that. So I've been thinking about like different kind of metaphorical like ways that I could show rumors or like communication. It does look like the right? I don't want to do the Rolling Stones logo. I don't want that. I want to do something that like can be interpreted in different ways. Like, because one, Rumors aren't just like spoken, they're not just heard. Rumors can be read or like seen or like felt. Rumors can come from any direction, whether you're like, regardless of your uh, communication style. So like this whole tongue and mouth thing is exactly what I want to steer clear of. But at the same time, I don't know how to depict um another way of showing that like somebody wants you to or an entity or a conglomerate wants you to think one thing while like maybe the another thing is true. I did have a thought about like what if it was like sound waves? Maybe like this. And then like a breakage. And then no sound waves. Or opposite sound waves. So like while you're thinking that one thing is true, another thing is actually true. And this is again looking at or thinking about sound very heavily. So like I like this idea. I like this idea quite a lot. And I wonder if I can kind of like swirl them around actually. I'm going to go into my fancy Procreate settings. Which is it? Liquify? Liquify might do. And if I twirl, and I make a big twirl. Crap. I like it, actually. I really do actually like it. But I'm gonna twirl at the end, I think. I draw whatever this like sound thing is. Doll, I need your help here. Why aren't you me? Like, why don't you and I have the same brains that I could just draw this? I am going to have to Google quite quickly. I'm going to have to look up, what do you call it? A sound thingy? What do you call it? What do you call it? A sound thingy. I'm Googling sound thingy. Oh, God. And it came up exactly what I'm thinking, a sound thingy. Okay. So I can simulate this. Actually, I wonder, a wave. Oh my God, a sound wave. Wave. I couldn't think of the word wave. Oh my God. Sound wave. That's the thing. I literally Googled sound thingy and it came up with exactly what I wanted. But what I would love to do, I would love to like pick I'm going to open Audition really quick. I'm going to open Audition and I'm going to see if I can record something. I'm going to try to record like one of the lines in the speech. I'm going to do a new multi-track session. I'm going to call it Rumor. I should be sharing my screen so you can see what I'm doing in Audition, but I'm not. You're just going to have to deal with that. Can I record while I'm also using OBS? Let's find out. Test. Oh God, I have to set to record. Okay, test. All right, so there's gonna probably be some echo that you're gonna hear, and it's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow your mind. But here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to record a quick moment from this speech. Which one? Oh, here we go. I'm going to record, I speak of peace while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. I'm going to record, I speak of peace while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. Here we go. I speak of peace while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. Cool. Now I'm going to snap a little picky pick. Boop, boop. Turn it off. The echo. The echo is so bad. Okay. Here we go. And here's what I'm about to do now. You're going to see my whole screen. It's going to blow your mind. I'm going to take a photo. I'm going to take a photo of this. Bam. Use photo. Look at this. This is fucking technology, y'all. Fucking technology. And I'm going to use this as kind of the basis for my wave. My sound wave. I'm going to turn it to, oh no! Undo, delete. I accidentally deleted the whole thing. I'm going to turn it to like very minimal opacity. I'm going to put a layer on top. And then I'm gonna clear out this layer because I'm not gonna use it. What I am going to do now is turn on my drawing guide. That's probably fine with that size. I usually like to do bigger squares, so maybe I will edit the drawing guide just for some bigger squares. I like my squares to be big. Okay. I'm going to go up to this layer on top. Oh, the word rumor would be so good. It would be good. But I think this is longer, and then when I swirl it in a minute, it'll be like a bigger swirl. I feel like if I did just rumor, it would be just like a little short swirl. This one is going to give me enough like soundual info that I can actually swirl it. All right. So this is a picture from Adobe Audition where I just recorded myself saying those beautiful words of Shakespeare's. And I'm going to draw the, actually, you know what I should do? I should use my resources and do a different drawing guide. I should do the symmetrical drawing guide. And then do the horizontal. And then move my horizon line right there. Ooh. Okay, so now all I'll have to do is like draw my line and then my little thingy. That was really ugly, but you get the idea. So I'll draw my line. I'll draw my thingy. I'll draw this line. I'll draw this thingy. And I can make them a little bit bigger so that they show up a bit more. Let me make sure I'm on the right thing. I just had a moment where I was like, what if I'm drawing on the wrong layer? Which I love. I love drawing on the wrong layer. But I don't really love it. It just happens all the time, so I tell myself that I love it. But if I use this thing, then I can be like, look at that. I can make my layers a little bit bigger. I can make my sound waves a little bit bigger. So it looks like, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking loudly or something. I don't know what it looks like, how it looks like I'm speaking, but what I want it to be is just like recognizably a sound thingy, aka a sound wave. So making it a little bit bigger on each side, yeah, I'm into that. So whoever looks at this, they're not going to be like, what were you saying? That doesn't make any sense. The whole fact that we like are tracing the sound wave, that's like our own secret thing right now. Nobody else is going to know that. All right. Look at that. That's a beautiful sound wave. I'm going to duplicate this layer because I want to fuck with this sound wave a little bit. I want to maybe, because we're basically saying that like, don't believe everything you hear. It is a rumor that I'm tracing. It is not supposed to be, like, spot on. If it was supposed to be spot on, exactly the truth, I wouldn't be tracing it. And I think that's the key. I think, doll, you are onto something so meta that I can't even comprehend it at the moment. But I want to show that it's not just words that like anyone can speak and you believe them. I would love to have some kind of like moment of breakage in between. But what I would like to do first actually is I want to finish. It is too meta, too fucking meta, too meta for any kind of name. What is that? That's not what I want. What's happening? What is that? We'll go from here. All right, so now we have a whole spoken like kind of shortness here. We'll go with this. I'm going to delete this layer because I fucked it up. And I'll duplicate this new layer. And I don't think I need to necessarily change the size of it. I think I'm going to try really quickly to... I'm going to try really quickly to like make it taller. Like this. I feel like making it taller will be like make it more recognizable as a sound thingy. So if we go with this, it's like more obviously a sound thingy, right? And then we will move it down to the center. Bam. Right there. And now, what's the color we're supposed to use for histories? Histories are blue, I believe. Let's check and see what histories are supposed to be. They are supposed to be blue. So, I'm going to I'll duplicate that, and do alpha lock really quick. And then I'll use the blue color that I've been using. And I'm just going to color this blue, the whole thing, bright blue. Like so. Is my cat at the door? Should we find out if there's a cat at the door? How disappointing. I thought I heard cat scratching at the door and I did not. That's what you get for being hard of hearing. You like hear things that aren't there and then you don't hear things that are there. It's a wild ride. Okay, so I've got this blue color. I'm going to color inside it, I guess, black and white. Maybe like some sort of peak and valley situation. But if I color, I think like the closer I get to the middle, if I do black, that'll be interesting. I do want to put on the drawing guide, actually. Am I assisted? I am assisted, so it's going to make drawing the black and white a little bit easier. So if I do just black in the middle, which I think is going to work well. Like so. Ugh, I messed up. Watch me undo it. Bah. I need to do like more smaller strokes so that when I do have to undo it, I'm not like undoing the entire thing. I'm getting like walnut vibes from this. Like I'm literally making this and like I'm hungry for tree nuts. And that's probably the weirdest thing that I've ever said on this live stream. But drawing this makes me hungry for tree nuts. And it does. Okay. So there's black. I'm going to add now same drawing assisted layer. I'm going to add white to it. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Walnuts make your tongue feel funny. Are you allergic to walnuts? I feel like that's an allergy if they make your tongue feel funny. I don't want to necessarily have the blue just be an outline like this. I feel like the blue on the outline is kind of... Is it silly? It might be silly. It might be kind of silly. And you know what I should do? Is I should make this also the reference layer. And I should fill it with black. That's what I should do. Look at that magic. So I made it a reference layer. Assisted reference. Drawing assist and reference. And then I filled it in with black. So now there's just black. This is weird. I don't understand why these two layers are different. Like, where does this one go? I don't know. What if I combine them? I'm going to merge them down. No big deal. Okay, so empty, full of black. Look at it. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Right? Now, so that I don't have to worry about coloring in the lines, I'm going to take this white layer here and I'm going to make it a clipping mask. So now wherever I'm drawing with white, let me fill in the rest of this, because this here isn't good. I gotta fill in the rest of that layer. So let me do that. RQ. I think because I colored before, I was like, yeah, let's do a reference layer. I think I got confused there. But now it shouldn't be confused. I'm going to just clean up the lines in between a little bit. Right. There we go. Yeah, that's fully blacked out there. Bien. I'm just gonna fill in the rest of this black so that it's like nice. So you maybe are allergic to walnuts, but you've like never been tested for a walnut allergy, and you just eat them anyway so that you can feel a delightful tingle in your tongue, or what's the deal? Double knife throat punch posse. Heck yes. Welcome back, Master Yoda. We are at the moment talking about this particular speech in Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 2. Specifically, we're looking at... what did I record? I recorded something in Adobe Audition. What did I record? Why is rumor here? That's not the one. Let's see. Let me hit play and see if I can remember what the line was that I recorded.
I speak of peace, while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world.
I speak of peace. We're at line 9 on this piece. At line 9, I speak of peace while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. And who but rumor? Who but only I make fearful musters and prepared defense, whiles the big year, swollen with some other grief, is thought with child by the stern tyrant of war and no such matter. So we're looking at this character, Rumor, in Henry IV, Part 2. This character, Rumor, like that's the name, Rumor, like gloats on about how this is what really happened, but this other thing is what I'm gonna say has happened, and I'm gonna revel in the fact that it's a rumor. So I've recorded my speech, and this is a kind of tracing of the speech that I recorded. And so we've just filled it in, and now we're kind of making it a little bit fancy. So now I'm going to add the white in. And actually, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to delete that layer. I'm going to do it a different way. I am going to create a new layer and then do a clipping mask. And then I'm going to add white. And then I'm going to use a soft pastel like I usually do. You never eat them. Honestly, you forgot about it when you went for testing. Oh, the walnuts. So you ate them, they made your mouth feel funny, and then you were like, fuck it, whatever. That's fair. That's like my whole ADHD journey has been like, fuck it, whatever. What are you gonna do? Fix me? You can't fix me. So I just have been like, very much, fuck it, whatever. So I'm gonna add just white to these like extreme edges, and then make it kind of like fade into the black here in the middle. Like so. And then I'm gonna erase a bit out of the middle so that it is still black in the middle. Like that. What I could do a blur, but I feel like that is too mechanical, and I don't want it to look super mechanical. I want it to look like I might have done it on paper, if I had the skill, but I don't have the skill. Shh, don't tell anyone. So I'm going to leave it at this. Where'd my outline? I'm going to leave my... Should I get rid of my outline? Getting rid of the outline kind of looks cool. Like, it looks like it's been, like, cut out. But I need to have blue in there. God, this is too easy. It's only 9 o'clock. Usually I go to, like, 11. I feel like... Are my fangs showing, Master Yoda? Don't look. Don't look, Master Yoda. Listen, okay. So I've been rewatching Being Human, the US version, and like as soon as I finished the first episode, I was like, oh shit, vampires are cool. Like, I remembered, like, I was never into Twilight or any of that, like, contemporary, like, vampire nonsense. But what I was really into was Being Human and What We Do in the Shadows. Those two things were, like, vampire mecca to me. Like, I prayed to them 3 times a day. Facing the devil every time. And so, like, I've had these fangs for an eternity, but I haven't busted them out in years. Like, this is gross. This is an overshare. I found them the other day and they were like full of mold. I had to like deep clean them, and like I brushed them with my little electric toothbrush, and then I soaked them in um alcohol swish. Like I cleaned the shit out of these. I haven't worn them in so long. They were literally, and the case that I held them in were like, it was fully fibrous. It was like a cat had slept in there. It was disgusting. It was blackened. It was disgusting. So I had to like sanitize, and like I even remolded I remolded them so that they like actually fit my teeth, which have moved, since I originally had made them. But yeah, I've since the last week or so, since I've been rewatching Being Human, which I recommend. I need to watch the British. I haven't watched it because the North American version it's like so good. So good. Usually I'm that pretentious asshole that's like, oh, the British version is so much better. I studied at Oxford. Usually that's me. But in this case, I go like, But have you seen the American version? Because like Megan Rath and like Sam Witwer and like Sam Huntington and Kristen Hager, fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Recommend Being Human. It is at this moment, the first 3 seasons are on Amazon Prime. The 4th season is also on Amazon Prime, but you have to subscribe to like a third party to watch it. We'll see if I do that when I get there. I will do that. I totally will do that because it's such a good show. But yeah, so now I'm in like full vampire mode. I'm working on this story for Kindle Vella that has nothing to do with vampires. It's all about psychopomps. It's about Charon, the Greek psychopomp who ferried the souls across the river Styx into the underworld. It's all about that kind of situation. And vampires do not come into it anywhere. But the whole time I'm like writing on that, I'm like, you know what I should be writing? I should be writing my vampire story right now. God damn it, vampires. So I've turned back into a vampire bitch. Hence the fangs. Hence them showing, what are you gonna do? Come over. Let me drink your blood. JK. I don't drink live blood anymore. My spouse and I do drink live sometimes. My spouse and I have an arrangement. I try very hard not to murder him, and he gives me, like a pinprick of blood sometimes, The rest of the time I just drink Kirkland sparkling water. Right. Where do I add the blue to this? Okay. If I write a short, you'll read it on your YouTube channel once it's up. Okay, so I have some short stories up already and some chapters from some other things. I have gotta get my iron somehow. Unrelated, the doctor just put me on vitamin D pills. Apparently I have very low vitamin D. And so now I have to take the D by mouth. Anyway. Yeah, I have some short stories up already. I have some chapters from the Death Hamlet that I'm writing, which is, it's just Hamlet, but Hamlet is deaf, and, you know, what happens then. Got some of those up already. But my thing about Charon, that'll be up on Kindle Vella very soon. But I need to add blue to this, because, like, this could be done. Right? It is common for people with uteruses, and it's fucking stupid. It's the worst. Because, like, I've been losing my hair the past 6 months, and I've just been thinking, like, I've even been Googling, like, is it common to lose your hair in the wintertime? And, like, it is, but it isn't. And, like, I've been so brain fogged and so tired. And now, when I saw that my doctor prescribed me vitamin, like, a high dose of vitamin D, I was like, oh, shit. Oh. Like, maybe those things that I thought were just, like, normal, whatever, everyone does this, maybe I need to go outside. So now I have to take this drug. Anyway. My short stories, I have one on Kindle right now. Like, if you search for Reese Harp on Kindle or on Amazon, you'll be able to find my short story, The Storyteller. I have that up there right now. And then on Kindle Vella and on my Patreon, you'll be able to read very soon. I'm going to have 4 or 5, I'm going to have like 3 to 5 episodes of a story about how, about like what happens when somebody ends up having to become a psychopomp or become a, okay, so a psychopomp, for those who don't know what a psychopomp is, it's not a common word. It's one who ferries souls from the world of the living to the world of the dead. So what happens when a person gets, like, mistaken for a psychopomp? What do they do? So that's that series of stories. Right now I've got it broken down into, let's see. I've got it broken down into all of these pieces so far. And those are going to go up one at a time on Kindle Vella and my Patreon as I'm writing them. And then once I've written them, then I will compile them into a novel. But for the time being, they're going to go up one at a time on Kindle and on Patreon. Right. We're supposed to be adding blue. Try getting more sun, too. Yeah, that's so funny, because I go outside all the time. Like, I love being outside in the sun. And it's also to the point that I am, like, I'm also that kind of, like, mixed race, mixed ethnicity type person where if I go outside for like half a second, I tan. And I've already, like, I've gone outside like 3 times this week and I've already got like a watch tan under here. It's horrific. But I go out all the time. I go outside all the time and get sun. And it just, apparently I'm just still too not sunny. So, you know what I want to do, actually? I want to do a drawing assist. So that it's equal on both sides. Look at that. Beautiful blue. And I'm going to pop it around to the back. And I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to blur it. No. You... Of course I would want to see her again. Yes! Of course, I want to like teach you to jump rope and like I want to play hopscotch on your front porch. Yes, of course I would want to see you again someday. And you know what? Even if it's not until you're graduating high school, you know, I'm invested in your life and what you do and how you feel throughout it. Of course I would want to see you again. Bah. Bah. You're a sweet little baby. I can't. All right. Redo. Blur. Look at that beautiful blur. Oh, yes, I held you. I held you a few times. Oh, you little sweet small human who I think of as a baby, but you're not a baby anymore. You're a growing human who, before I even know it, is going to be a full-grown adult and who's going to be smarter and wiser than I could ever dream of being. You used to sit in my living room and we would play Dungeons and Dragons, who I'm sure your parents will, if they haven't already, introduced you to. And we would eat pizzelle cookies. Delicious. And we would eat chocolate chip cookies. Also delicious. And I would get super like head up. Like my character was always like kind of angry and everyone else was like cool and collected. And you would just sit there just sleeping in your little like baby carrier. Just like this was nothing. No big deal. Good Lord. You were a sweet, perfect baby angel, and I'm sure you still are, and I'm sure you will be forever, and I can't wait until you are the one in charge of this country and this world and making all of our decisions, and anyway, I've added the blur. I'm going to hide these background layers. I'm just going to have this. Yeah, a book, because I'm not capable of playing anything other than a rogue. Like, period. I'm 100% a rogue in everything that I do. But oh God, I miss playing Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't played since then. That was the last time that I played any kind of role-playing game, I think. I think I can say that with confidence. That was the last time I ever played anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the canvas as it is. And paste it in. Okay, so now what's missing? The background color. That was what's missing. I hope she liked the encouragement, because I honestly mean it. I'm not like trying to like hype her up for no reason. Like, she really is gonna, and her cohorts really are going to save the world. I truly and honestly believe that. Yeah. We can't save the world as our generation without them. So, yeah. I can't wait to see what she does with her life. Let's what do? We liquefied previously, and we can twirl and see what happens. Look at that. Beautiful. And then we can delete or hide all of that. So here's a distorted sound. Is that what I want to go with? I feel like I've only been out here for like less than an hour and a half. I can't leave it here. But I kind of want to leave it here. She'll either be a marine biologist or a therapist. That is so funny because, like, when I was a kid, everyone wanted to, like, we were wearing dolphins on everything. And when people would be like, do you like dolphins or something? We'd be like, yeah, I want to be a marine biologist. And then not a one of us actually became a marine biologist. We were just like, that's the cool thing to want to be. But I don't think any of us did it. Probably because we all grew up in like farmland and we couldn't have like fathomed how to be a marine biologist because we're like farmers. Like we're like we do cows. What is marine? How do you pay for marine when you drive a tractor to school? So, as far as I know, I don't think anyone did the marine biologist thing, but we all did talk about it. Like that was like the cool job that you wanted to have when you were in middle school and high school, I think. I was also recently thinking, I don't remember 7th and 8th grade. Literally, I don't remember. I think I remember going to like a typing class, but that's it. I literally have been racking my brain for the last 2 or 3 days to try to remember middle school for me. And like something must have happened especially difficult in that time that I don't like. I couldn't tell you any of my teachers from middle school, from 7th, 8th grade. I couldn't tell you a single one. Couldn't tell you what classes I took, except that I have a vague memory of someone like placing something over my hands while I tried to type. I remember nothing. 2 years of my life gone. Not in here at all. Period. And I wish I could remember what it was that happened that I completely ejected 2 years worth of memories out of my consciousness. I don't remember. I remember nothing. Right. Well, I feel like I don't necessarily want to add anything more. I am going to play with the background a little bit. I'm going to add some of this blue to the background. Yeah, it's definitely a repressed memory period. And I have, like, I must have done a good job at it because I don't remember why I repressed an entire 2 years. And like, I'm 34, and I did not even think about that period until like 4 days ago. Like, until 4 days ago, it never even occurred to me that I had a middle school period. And then I was like, I was going through my like kindergarten, Miss Stewart. First grade, Miss Bowlby. Second grade, Miss Bradburn. Third grade, Miss Collier. Fourth grade, Mr. Ice. Fifth grade, Miss Wheeler. Sixth grade, Miss Brown. And then I went seventh grade. Eighth grade. I can't remember a single teacher that I had during those years. I can't remember a single thing. I think 9/11 happened during that period, cuz I do remember being in a home ec class watching TV as like the planes crashed into the towers. I think I remember that, and then going to lunch and like having a prayer circle or something. But I couldn't tell you a single one of my teachers. Couldn't tell you anything that they taught me. I couldn't tell you what was going on at home or what was going on in my. I was really big into jump rope at that time. And I assume I was doing competitions, but I don't know. I like those 2 years, and even probably into ninth grade, were they're just they're like gone. And I just, in the past 4 days, it never occurred to me that something could be just gone from my memory. It never occurred to me that that was a possibility. And then the past 4 days, I've been like, oh shit, like, is my brain doing the thing that like it's supposed to do when it's having a hard time? Like, is it, what's happening? Is this correct? Is this wrong? I don't know. Um, yeah, it never occurred to me. And then just this week, it's been like, oh yeah, you don't remember at least 2 years of your life. What was going on in my life that I have blocked out 3 to 4 years? I should see an AAIT practitioner. They should have one in my neck of the woods. What is an AAIT practitioner? After action intertransit technologist. What is AIT? I don't know what that is. I finally got I got an update on my mental health what you call it, from the VA. The VA like is finally getting back to me about the whole mental health thing. They're finally getting back to me. It's been like 5 years since I've been asking for mental health from the VA, and they're finally getting me on the books. Like, someone should call me next week. If someone doesn't call me next week, it's been literally 5 years since I've been saying, like, I'm having trouble. And we wonder why. We wonder why I have to wear this t-shirt. We wonder why we have to have a whole stop soldier suicide thing. But, like, it's been 5 years since I've asked for a mental health referral from the VA. I'm one of the lucky ones that can persevere without. But, damn. Anyway, as I was looking at it, I kind of noticed that I don't maybe like how, like, crisp the lines are. Maybe. I'm going to keep them up here just in case it sucks less. But I want to try blurring these lines a little bit. Not a whole lot, just a little bit of a blur. Just so that it doesn't look like a cutout. And then I am also going to... I'm going to blur this too. But here's the thing. I want it to be less. So I am going to erase a little bit so that the blue glow kind of just comes from the midpoint. And then okay, now I'm going to copy the canvas again. And I'm gonna paste the canvas again. Bam. And add these back in. And then, just like we did previously, liquefy. And I'm going to twirl right. So AAIT is acceptance and integration training. It's a therapeutic method that you provide in your practice. And there are practitioners in Tennessee and North Carolina and nationwide. I'll have to Google what that actually means. Acceptance and integration training. And if you go to the VA, get accelerated resolution therapy, ART, or EMDR. You offer ART in your practice as well, and it works very effectively. I have no idea what any of this is. You are far more sophisticated than I could ever be about this stuff. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I totally do need to talk to somebody and figure out some of these things, because, like, I've recently realized that the way I grew up was not standard. And, like, the reason why the way I was raised, like, hurts now is because, like, it hurt then and I just didn't realize. So I definitely do need to talk to somebody about some of these things. I just haven't been able to get the consultations. But I did talk to somebody today because I Karen'd all over those asses. Was like, where's my referral? I asked for a referral, one, in like 2015. Did I hear anything back? No. And then I asked for a referral a month ago. Have I heard anything yet? No. But they assured me. They were like, oh, I see that they've requested yesterday that somebody reach out to you. Yesterday. Man, if I was in trouble, I'd be gone already. I have problems with the whole thing. Anyway, I really like the way this looks like scales. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be going outside the VA very soon because I've realized that like they don't seem to actually care, you know? They say that they care, but do they? I don't know. Good Lord, I feel like this is good enough. You know? I don't know. Like, this was kind of the idea that I had. But I feel like it's too early. I didn't spend enough time on it. Let me smudge out this background. So that's at least a little bit cleaner. Sometimes it be like that. It's true. Like, I feel like this is something that I get stuck in a lot, is that I think that something should take longer than it does in order for it to be quality. And so I will say, like, I haven't spent enough time on it, so it's not good. But, like, that is completely contrary to the artist's soul, you know, that says, like, this is what I wanted, and now I've put what I wanted out there. It took 3 minutes. What are you going to do? That's how long it took, you know? Or I run into this with writing a lot, where I will write my story and it's 5 pages long and I've told my whole story and I've told it in a way that I wanted to tell it, and then I look at it and I go, it's only 5 pages long. That's not long enough. That's not a short story. Short stories are like 15 to 20 pages. What the heck am I going to do with 5 pages? That's not enough. But then I have to remind myself that, like, who dictates what I do with my artist soul? I'm the only one that's saying, like, it's not long enough. It's not, I didn't spend enough time on it. I didn't do enough, whatever. And that's something that I'm really working on, is getting away from comparison. Comparison, I think, is the issue. Is like, I look at this thing right here that took me an hour maybe to do. Not, maybe not even an hour. And I go, well, someone else would have spent 6 weeks on this, you know, drawing it from scratch. They wouldn't have used any of the spiral technology that I used. They would draw it just from this, and it would have taken them weeks. And they would have, you know, poured their soul into it and all this stuff. And I compare myself to that, and I go, well, if I'm not doing that, then I'm not as good as they are, or I'm not as worthy as they are of attention, or I'm not as worthy of, like, people buying my stuff. I'm not as worthy of exposure. I'm not as worthy of any of these things because other people do it this way. But, like, other people are other people. Like, I like, if Nicolas Cage thought, like, man, I really need to act harder. Like, other people, like Daniel Day-Lewis is doing his thing, and I'm just over here being Nick Cage all the time. Well, I shouldn't take this role because I'm only doing Nick Cage, and Daniel Day-Lewis is over here doing Abraham Lincoln. It's different styles. Everyone is doing their thing in their own way. And also, no one knows what they're doing, especially as artists. No one knows what they're doing. We're all winging it. We're all making it up as we go. And none of it matters anyway, so we might as well like just do what we want to do and have fun and just hang out and enjoy life, because it literally doesn't matter in the end. So I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna say this is the like 45 minutes that I spent talking about Rumor from Henry IV Part 2. So does anybody want to talk about Henry IV Part 2? Anyone? I'll talk about as much as I know of it. I'll pop these fucking fangs out. How have I done this whole thing in these ridiculous teeth? Ah. The good thing about this is showing how you manifest your art and how you engage with others on here and what enriches the artistic process as well. I do think that that is important to show that, like, because I've had all these doubts about what makes a good artist and thought, like, because I don't spend enough time doing like drawing nudes. I've never drawn a nude. I've never been to an art class. I've never been to a color theory class that like shows you how to mix paints. I've never learned to use acrylics or oils, or I've never even learned to use digital. I just teach myself how to do this stuff. I don't know what a clipping mask actually does. All I know is that is like the effect that it has when I create one in this program. I have no idea what a clipping mask actually is. So I really do want to show that like none of that matters. Like, you don't have to be a classically trained artist. Especially with Shakespeare. I think that's one of my goals with low-hanging Shakespeare, is that you don't have to know how to act. You don't have to know how to read theater, to read poetry, to understand Shakespeare. You don't have to have studied any of these things. You just have to know how to like let go of your preconceived notions of what Shakespeare is, of what drawing is, of what art is, and just enjoy the process regardless of how much you know or don't know. Because if you are like relying on, well, I don't know as much as this person about this thing. If I was waiting to know as much as some Shakespeare scholar before I did any of this shit, I would never do it, because I would never feel like I knew enough to do it. So, and like art, I think, is a good parallel. Like, if I was waiting to find out, if I was waiting until I knew exactly what a fucking clipping mask was, I would never do this, because like I wouldn't know. It's probably like way above my technical understanding. Same with, man, if I knew what Henry the Fourth Part 2 was actually about, instead of just like reading it and kind of watching. I did watch a performance of it recently with 4 actors. It was pretty interesting. If I'd waited till I had opportunity to actually study it and find out like what actually like the themes and motifs are, I would never do this. I would never have like turned on my live at all today. So I do think it is important to show that it's okay to work on the knowledge that you do have, and kind of, especially when it comes to art, you don't need to have all the technical skills. Just make the thing. You don't have to have a perfect understanding of Animal Farm, that it's a satire of socialism or whatever. You don't have to know that. You know, you can enjoy it for animals speaking. You can enjoy it for the messages that you find in it. So Henry the Fourth Part 2, you know, the message that I found in it that was most important to me was the idea of the rumor that, like, enjoys being mistaken for something else. The rumor that its whole purpose as a sentient being is to make somebody think something that isn't there. Especially as a person with anxiety, with like social anxiety, who I tend to think a lot of times that everyone hates me. For what reason? I don't know. Just because I'm weird, because I talk too much, because I say crass things, because I laugh at farts, because I'm short, because I'm kind of fat, because I'm not fully white, because I'm not fully ethnic, like all these different reasons why people could hate me. And then there's this character that is Rumor, that is like actively putting these reasons out into the world for miscommunication. Like, that's its whole purpose for being, is to make people miscommunicate with each other. And I love that idea, that it's so universal that back in even Shakespeare's day, like, he put this character in that is actively almost a villain, trying to get people to miscommunicate and misunderstand each other and just wreak havoc. For what? Just because that's its job as Rumor. And if I actually knew about the play and knew what the play was about actually as a scholar, I probably wouldn't pick that. But I don't. And I don't care. And that's what I'm trying to lean into as an artist, is to stop like exempting myself as a scholar. I am a scholar. I do study these things. You know, I do have opinions about these things. They do make me feel certain ways. And why are my opinions and feelings about it any less than someone who has a PhD in it? I'm reading the same work they are. I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. And that is what I'm trying to remind myself every damn day. Anyway, this is Rumor. It's just a shape or object that you use to bound another layer inside. Are you talking about the clipping mask? It still don't make no sense to me. I like literally I know what it does functionally, but like the words clipping and mask, no clue. Anyway, What else? So it looks like I'm the only person that has actually read the play in the chat right now, which is fine. It's like, it's not a great play. It's fine. Not Shakespeare's best. But I will say that it will break your heart in the end. If you've read Henry IV Part 1. If you read Henry IV Part 1 and then follow it immediately by Henry IV Part 2. And I'm not even going to say if you've read. If you've watched as well, the ending of Henry IV Part 2 is devastating. It is so sad. You know what? I'm going to open it up. I think it will be... Here we go. Let's just read this really quick. We're going to go from this line here. Enter the king and his train, the Lord Chief Justice among them. Sir John Falstaff, who has been a father figure to Henry, who is now the king. His father has died recently, just in this play, in the last scene or so. His father has died, and now he's the king. And Falstaff comes to him he's been a bad boy. He's been a naughty boy, Falstaff. He's been a naughty boy. Hal has also been a naughty boy with Falstaff. They've been naughty boys together. And Falstaff is thinking, oh, now that my buddy's the king, maybe I can get a pardon, and I'm gonna be set up, and I don't need to be a naughty boy anymore. God save thy grace, King Hal, my royal Hal. Hal is a diminutive name. He's his name is Henry. But Hal has been his buddy old pal name. His royal Hal. It's how's it going, my king buddy? My royal Hal. The heavens thee guard and keep, most royal imp of fame. God save thee, my sweet boy. My Lord Chief Justice, speak to that vain man. Let's look up vain. What is that? Foolish, silly, stupid. My Lord Chief Justice, talk to that dumbass over there who's calling me my sweet Hal. Have you your wits? Know you what 'tis you speak? My king, my Jove, I speak to thee, my heart. You're my king. You're my God, my Jove, Zeus. I'm talking to you, to thee, which is the familiar form of you back in the day. People give all this, pronoun crap, they, them as a singular is so hard. But, back in Shakespeare's day, we were using thee, thou. We don't use that anymore. Language is changing, pronouns change. I'm a singular they. And then he says, my heart. My heart. So you're my king, you're my God. Nay, you are the very thing in my body that keeps me alive. To which the new king replies, I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. I don't know you. Falstaff says, you're my king, you're my God, you're the very thing inside me that keeps me alive. And the king says, who are you? How ill white hairs becomes a fool and jester. I have long dreamt of such a kind of man, so surfeit swelled, so old and so profane. But being awaked, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing, know the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than other men. Basically, making fat jokes, but also that the grave gapes for thee, like saying like you should be dead 3 times over where other men are like should live. Reply not to me with a full-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive, that I have turned away my former self. So I will those that kept me company. When thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then, I banish thee, on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 mile. For competence of life I will allow you. The lack of means enforce you not to evils, and we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to our strengths and qualities, give you advancement. Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenure of my word. Set on. And then he leaves. So Falstaff was like, you're like a kid, you're like a son to me. And this son, now that he's king, is like, fuck off then, buddy. It's, especially if you get to see it, if you get to see it live, especially, I don't know that it would have the same effect in cinema. I'll have to watch. I haven't watched what was the like Chimes at Midnight thing that they did a couple years back. It's on Amazon. It's on Hulu. What did they call it? What's his name? Plays Hal in it. The Hollow Crown. The Hollow Crown is what I'm thinking of. Oh my god, what's his name? I keep thinking Tom Holland. It is not Tom Holland. Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston plays Hal in it. And I haven't watched the scene where Hal banishes Falstaff, but I bet it's fucking tragic. I watched it live. It was a 4-person show, and I was largely confused the whole time, just because of some like certain production choices. But right, Tom Holland is Prince Hal would be like so off. It would just be like a poor casting choice, but I would watch it. But I watched this 4-person show and largely was kind of just like meh the whole time. And then during that scene where Hal tells Falstaff to naff off, I cried. I actually cried at the theater. So it's really good. This is a play that like people don't think of It's I think underperformed play. Probably because it's a part two. You need part one to really make it meaningful. Um, and having watched part two as I played Hotspur in part one, there's a whole scene with Hotspur's wife in part two where she's like, ugh, just brilliant. So like it's probably underdone because you have to do part one as well. Um, but the thing that I wanted to get across is that there's a character in the world called Rumor that makes bullshit for people. The 5 hour theater is a hard sell. And what there's a company local to where I live that's been doing it's not like 5 hours like in a row, but they did Richard II and Henry IV Part 1 in rep. So they've knocked out those. And then they kept the same Henry for Henry IV Part 2 and kind of changed the other actors around. And then I hope they'll do Henry V with that same Henry and then kind of again change the actors around so that there's kind of like continuations that if you've gone to see them all, you get the idea. It's yeah, it is a hard sell. Even separating it out like that, it's a hard sell because like you need some good marketing. You need some good continuity to make sure that people will come and see every piece of each play. But putting on putting on chapstick with fangs is kind of painful. But it is now 10 o'clock, and now I don't feel so bad about ending the stream. I feel like I've talked out of my butt for long enough that I'm comfortable leaving it where it is. Look at all these. Look at what we've done. Look at what we've done as a family so far. Like, look at this. Romeo and Juliet. Richard the Third, I think that was. That wasn't in order. Much Ado About Nothing. Merchant of Venice, which I think is one of my faves. I love these little dead dudes. So cute. Titus Andronicus. What was this one? This one was, it's a history. It was Henry IV, Part 1. Henry IV, Part 1. This was Twelfth Night. And then Caesar. Now that's Caesar. This was Pericles. And this is Caesar. And then right here was Henry IV Part 2. And then next week, oh my gosh, on the day before St. Patrick's Day, we're going to do Midsummer. Am I wrong? I feel like I'm off by a week. I feel like this week was supposed to be Midsummer. Where did I go wrong? I don't know. Next week will be Midsummer. Well, I need to figure out where I've messed up in my planning. I found where I messed up in my planning. Oops, that means my whole year is off by 1 week. Next week is Midsummer. It's my favorite play. One of my favorite Shakespeare plays, Midsummer. But I've also been involved in 3 productions of it. So it's like also kind of like I'm kind of bored by it. So I'm really looking forward to reading it and watching it and finding something in it that speaks to me in a way that makes me want to create something new. It would be better closer to the solstice, but I mostly put these on the calendar in order that in the order I think that they were written. Don't quote me. I think that's the order that I picked. I put them into categories by history, comedy, tragedy, and then like romance / other. And then I put like which ones were written like in which order. And then I 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of split them up like that. So they don't make sense. Like they don't make sense like that. Except I think I did mostly the histories in like order of like the kings, like as the kings went in order rather than as they were written. But the rest of them I've just done like kind of an arbitrary order with no regard for what time of year anything is. So, next week will be Midsummer. And then the week after that is Cymbeline. I freaking love Cymbeline. People sleep on Cymbeline. It's such a fun play. And then Othello. And then Richard II. And then who knows what else. But next week is Midsummer. This week has been Henry IV Part 2. And thank you for hanging out with me. For the little bit of time that we actually drew, I didn't draw anything tonight. This, like, AI might as well have done this. You could have put this into Midjourney and it would have come out with something way cooler. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. I will see you next week. Remember, if you're new here, to follow me on Instagram at reese.harp, or I recently started an Instagram at Low Hanging Shakespeare, and follow me on YouTube, whatever, and especially hang out with me on Patreon. I'm gonna put some like crazy stuff up on Patreon pretty soon, and I'm also quitting my job soon, so I need all the patrons I can get to make my life, livable. So, next week, I will see you then. Thank you so much for hanging out. And Midsummer, I'm super excited because a lot of people have read that, and we're going to have a lot to talk about, I'm sure of it. Okay, I love you.